Hey everyone, it's Caleb from Brickloaf, and today I'm going to be reviewing set 10305, the Lion Knight's Castle, which is an icon set that released on August 8th of 2022 to celebrate 90 years of LEGO, and this is a set that costs $399.99 at the LEGO store. This set features a lot of callbacks to things we've seen in previous castle themes. The castle theme ran from about 1970s to 2014, and this includes originally the classic castle, Black Falcon, Black Knight, Forestman, all the way to the fantasy era castle kingdoms and the last 2013 castle series. For the most part, the figures are callbacks to the early period of the castle theme, but there are elements of it within the design, and you can see some pretty obvious similarities between the castle designs and some of the kingdom sets. So all in all, the set comes with 3 Black Falcon Knights, 10 Lion Knights including the Queen, 2 children, 2 forestmen, a wizard, a baker, and a peasant. There are also 4 animals including a cow, 2 different horses, and a baby goat. I think that this is a pretty fair price for the set considering how big the building is, plus there's plenty of figures to fill it up and make it look like it is full. I feel like some of the modulars have the issue where you get this really big set and you only get, maybe 4 or 5 people and it doesn't feel like it's really full. And also you spend a lot of money on the modular but don't get quite as many people as you were expecting. And I feel like this set doesn't have that problem. And they're all very different. Most of the pieces here are only seen in a few other places, like the Forestman one came with a gift with purchase, and everything else is pretty much a revamp of things that were done in other previous themes. There are also so many figures that I guess this one got lost in the castle when I was filming, so here's this last Lion Knight. Now some things that don't really have a place in the castle are the firkin on the left, and that's the name, the instructions say it too. The piece that actually keeps it on the table prevents it from being able to sit on studs. You've also got a cart full of hay that sits on the horse and just some hay for the ground as well. The castle itself is split into 2 pieces. Side by side, you can see this ridge here is actually where they connect, and they're only connected by a few clips, and it holds it together pretty nicely, but it is easy to separate if you want to look at them individually, and that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to start with the right side where the gatehouse is, and you can actually remove the stone pathway that leads up to the drawbridge, and this is at an angle. It's just connected at this angle using one of the pole pieces and some clips. But there are some features behind it that we'll be able to see once we take it off. The first thing you'll notice when you take it off is that to the left there is a cave with a stone pathway and a frog on the inside. A figure can fit in here, and it does connect over to the side that connects with the rest of the castle, and I'll show you where this is later on when I connect the 2 pieces. Basically, this is an underground compartment that can lead to the rest of the castle. On the back side there's this cool section where it's built sideways so none of the studs are on top, and there is just a small dock here with stairs leading up to this gate that you can raise. All you have to do to raise that is turn one of the knobs on the side and it will raise and lower. This was actually one of my favorite parts of the castle to build just because of how different it was from the rest, and I think that the gate actually slides up and down really smoothly here. Continuing on to the next side, there is a tree here that looks like the Forestman one you got from the gift with purchase, and if you roll over the stone there's Forestman stuff on the inside with a shield, a bow and arrow, and a little hideout. And while that stone is rolled over you can push this other stone, and that will allow you to see the inside of the prison, so they are connected. I really like how there's 2 features in this one. On the front of the castle you can see there's a lot of detail. I really love the slits they have for firing arrows, and another knob on this side you can use to raise and lower the drawbridge. Actually, if you raise the drawbridge it does drop down into the prison area, which I'll show you in just a minute when I open it up. So I also think that that's another really cool feature that this one has. And up top is the feature where you can raise and lower the portcullis, and it's really fun to raise it because it clicks all the way up and it does stop it really well. All the features on this castle really work very smoothly, nothing really gets caught on anything, and I really appreciate that. Now we're going to open this gatehouse up and look at each of the individual rooms. There is a seam there you can see, and it is held together with some clips just like the 2 castle parts were. When you open this all up, it's going to look like they're small rooms, but just try to imagine it when it's all together. This is just so you can see it the best. We're going to start with the bottom right, and I'm going to raise the drawbridge, and you can see how a figure could slide down the center here and come into the prison area. There are 2 prison cells. There's one on the right and one on the left. They both open. The one on the left is the one that's connected to the escape door on the side where if you roll over the stone. If I turn this at an angle, you can see the light come through from where I opened it. In the gatehouse area right above the jail cell, there is this door here that you can open and close that's supposed to hold any of the horses that you want it to. I think specifically it's for like the queen's horse. And on the right, there's a ladder which will lead up to the top of the tower. And up top is the weapons rack with various different weapons. There's some armor, and then the chains for the portcullis. On the bottom left side is some treasure which connects to the prison area, and then a ladder which will lead back up to the main gatehouse. And there's some weapons, shields, some armor, and it also connects to the door that I mentioned earlier that leads to the back dock. Right above that is a toilet which hilariously has a twig with a leaf on it, and there is actually a hole right behind it, and if you were to drop like a stud down there, it would come out in the back just like a real historical castle would. So I think that was a very funny feature that they added here. If you also saw the gaps on the side of the tower as well, that's for those cylinders to be dropped down like stones over the people who are trying to storm the back. I think that was a really cool historical thing they did as well. And you can see the chains as they raise and lower, and how there's room for the portcullis to come up once you raise it. And for these weapon racks, if you do want to remove any of them, you can do that. They sit very loosely on their bases there, so just like the rest of the loose things, if you want to have them somewhere inside the castle or somewhere loose, you can do that. And the last thing about the gatehouse are these two towers. One of them has some smaller flags and nothing else inside of it. You can put a person there. And the main one has a large Lion Knight's flag and the mechanism for the portcullis. Now on to the left side of the castle, there are actually a few features on the outside, such as the plants and the vines on the wall. This water wheel here has a function on the inside that I'll show you in just a second too. And there are some planters underneath the windows here. And on the bottom right, this window is unlike any of the other window builds anywhere else in the set, and I really enjoy that. And just like the other side, this side of the castle opens up through this seam right here, and you can just pull it apart. It's held together by the same clips. Now starting off with this inn room, this is what actually connects to the hidden grotto underneath the drawbridge. There's a ladder here that leads up, there's an archery range in there, there's also some plans. You can take off this stall here, or you can use it to raise up the flap, but it is supposed to cover this because it's supposed to be a secret room. And above this, there's just some room. It's supposed to be like a small market area that leads to the gatehouse. There's some battlements where the soldiers can stand and climb up and store weapons. There's also some stairs leading down into the kitchen, and stairs that lead up into some rooms that we look at in just a second. And you can see the medieval style house here up top. The stairs leading down go into this kitchen area where there's a raging fire. There's plenty of food hanging from the walls and on the table. The table build's actually really cool here. And you can see there's a fountain in the back as well, which is at an angle, which was a really unique way they lined that up, but it is leaking water. It has a piece to make it look like it's leaking water. Above that room is a fireplace with a harpsichord and a log with an axe. And above that is the medieval room, which is supposed to be right here a toy of the old yellow castle. Right next to that building there's a tower, and if you look inside you can see there's a bell in there, and then a Lion Knight flag on top of that tower. Now moving to the bottom right of this part of the castle is the flour mill, and it's connected to the water wheel, so when you spin it, it does spin the mill. And there's a bag there, there's tan pieces on the ground that make it look like there's flour on the ground. And then to the right of that is a small pantry with a baguette and a bird in a nest up on top of the shelf. Connected to the room with the harpsichord on the opposite side is a dining room here, and they've got the different shields displayed up on the wall as well as a centerpiece on the table. And then connected to the room with the yellow castle toy is a bed with the table stand, some decorations above, and a fireplace. There's a ladder to the left of this room, and you can raise that. And what's cool about this is that the top portion of the wall here actually opens and closes with the rest of this portion of the castle. So if you do open it at the right angle and you look inside, they've hidden a frog as an Easter egg in there, and I think that was a really good use of the space. And I think it's a really inventive way to build the wall there so it connects. But that's the Lion Knight's castle. There's a lot of figures, a lot of unique pieces here, so if you are interested in anything castle or knights related, this would be a really great set for you. It is expensive, but I feel like the price is justified for the amount of pieces and the size of the set you're getting, as well as all the figures and how relatively unique they are and new. I know a lot of people really enjoy the castle theme, and with this set and the previous Forest Hideout gift with purchase, it would be really great to see a return of the theme and maybe a little bit more affordable range of $20 to $40, and just kind of revamping some of the old play sets or figures and bringing new prints and pieces to them. But if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to like it, let me know what you think down below in the comments, and if you want to see more, be sure to subscribe.